Hello, everybody, and welcome to our weekly update with
the Green Cowboys.
The Green Cowboys. My name is Elliot, and this is
Steven.
My little Steven. We're going to give you all the goods on the market this week, every one of them. We're not going to hold back. Anyway, so this week, let's talk about the midterms.
What do we got?
Midterm erections.
Those were some good midterms. Those were really good results, I would say, in my opinion, because it was 3 or 4 key states. Two of them were voting for medicinal, and then the other 2 were voting for recreational. And we got 3 out of the 4 of them. So we got Michigan, which voted to legalize recreational, and then we also got Missouri and Utah to vote.
So Missouri and Utah being medical, Michigan being recreational, Michigan being a large state. The one that fell behind was North Dakota.
Yeah, North Dakota was a big no.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I think the next time it comes around, they'll probably be there. So with more states coming online, it's almost inevitable for the federal government to have to do something about it. Because one of the big issues right now is companies are not able to use the banking system to gain capital. So if you look at Canada, what's been going on is because in the beginning they weren't able to get loans from the Bank of Montreal like Aurora was for $225 million, I believe. They were doing bought financing deals. So at the shareholders' value, they were diluting shares in order to raise capital.
No one likes that.
Yeah, no shareholder wants 1 billion shares. Aurora, thanks, Aurora. My first investment, Aurora.
Yeah, which
Aurora.
But fucking Aurora, yeah, dilution city.
Yeah. So I think that with the states coming online one by one and a lot of states starting to connect, we're going to see the federal government basically has to do something about it because unless they want to just waste their money, spin their wheels, spend our taxpayer money, making this still legal and prosecuting people, banks are going to be probably quicker in America than they were in Canada. So
I feel like more states are going to fall too. Because I mean, if you look at Colorado as like a model, for the years that when they went legal way back years ago now, 2012, right?
Yeah, 2012.
Yeah. Massive amounts of revenue, massive amounts for the state. So, I mean, the state would honestly be silly to not do that, to not go forward with either medicinal or recreational.
It's coming their way anyway, so they might as well catch the net and make some tax money. And actually, in the first year with Colorado, they gave a tax refund to everyone in the state because they had so much extra money from cannabis sales in 1 year. Yeah. And that's one state. And to kind of compare that to Canada, they call Canada a rounding error when it comes to these investments because the size of Canadian market is basically the size of California. And that's one state of 50 states. And yeah, it's one of the larger states, but still, I mean, the amount of money that's going to be made from cannabis is unreal. And I think, with our current president who is all about making money and business decisions, I don't think it's going to take much longer.
Yeah, I mean, and for anyone not to get political for the viewers here, but, he pretty much has said that he should let the states should be able to do whatever they want, whatever decision they want to make. If they want to go medicinal, fine. If they want to go recreational, fine, which that helps everyone, honestly. There is a massive wall of capital, I think, that's going to come surging into the United States real soon. Once legalization is close, which I think we're getting there. I think based off of these elections, it pretty much says that most Americans want it. I think the latest poll now is 2/3 of Americans want at least some form of medicinal legalization, medicinal at the least. So, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. I think it's a force that it's not slowing down at this point. It's only going to get bigger. And now that Mexico, so that was the next thing on my list was talking about Mexico. A week ago, the Mexican government decided that they were like, "Hey, yo, let's just make it legal." They have no framework. The black market already controls it, so they're like, "Well, fuck it." Yeah,
Yeah.
we might as well just make it legal. Apparently, if they don't get some legislation passed in the next year, anyone is legal to smoke a joint at their will. It doesn't matter. So now America is sandwiched by Canada, the leaders of this market, and now Mexico, who's like, well, we're already screwed by it. We might as well do it. I mean, what's going to happen? We have to.
There's Mexico, huge. That is huge. I think that's honestly slipped under the radar for a lot of people, for the most part. But their Supreme Court basically just deemed that the country's marijuana prohibition is unconstitutional. That is ridiculous. And their lawmaking body basically has 90 days to make laws.
90 days?
Yeah, they literally made night, so it'll basically be legal. Well, it should be legal within 90 days from, I think it was the 1st November that came out. So in the new year,
within 3 months of the new year, apparently Mexico has to do something about it. And I mean, hopefully they start making deals with some of these Canadian companies where a lot of us, like him and myself, started making investments well before the United States started making any real efforts. So, I mean, if they were to make a deal with one of those companies, it's even better.
I mean, I would imagine they could grow that way cheaper in Mexico than in Canada or the United States. Or
you're not going to get the quality that you would off of like a Sky class facility as a but it's going to be cheap. And people are going to want that. You know what I mean? Like, here's a good example. I was reading an article literally minutes before we started this video. It says it was about Massachusetts and how the new dispensary is going to be coming online soon. It says, yes, recreational marijuana is taxed. While the law approved by voters had a 12% tax on marijuana, Massachusetts lawmakers went in to rewrite the law to substantially increase it. When you're buying marijuana, there is a regular $6.25% sales tax on top of a $10.75% sales tax. Apparently, I think the United States at this point has no interest in getting rid of the black market with their plans. They're just looking to tax the hell out of it, which, you know what? Do it, because eventually it's going to come down. Because eventually they're not going to be able to compete with the black market, and they're going to realize that. That was the whole point of Canada keeping the tax so low.
Massachusetts is like, they're really a mess though with this, honestly, because didn't they got recreational marijuana like years ago, a couple years ago, and now they're just allowing like basically dispensaries to issue it and letting it like become widespread.
Yeah, nothing beats DC, which was legalized even before that, and it's still, there is no recreational framework or sales framework at all. I mean, you go down there. I mean, I live pretty close to there, and you go down there, and it just smells like weed everywhere. But there's nowhere to buy it unless you have a medical card.
Which doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like, would they want to make laws, that would govern how to go about it in a efficient way?
Yeah. Okay, so on top of that, in news, Mitch McConnell said that the Hemp Farming Act is almost guaranteed. Now, this is pretty cha-chinga, because hemp, which obviously comes from the cannabis plant, can be used for a multitude of different things. I mean, everything from food to building houses, you can use it for it. It's cheap. You can grow it like 3 times faster than normal industrial clothing plants. There's a million purposes for it. And all these cannabis companies that are going to be selling the cannabis, they're going to have all these stocks left over. What do you think they're going to use it for? You think they're going to throw it away? No, they're going to use it for industrial hemp. They used to make it for rope back in the day. At one point, it was actually illegal for Civil War efforts not to grow hemp if you had a farm, because they needed it for rope.
So the real question here, which we were talking about before, well, offline, is when this happens, when it's actually federally legal for hemp, can Canada then come over legally and just basically grow hemp and make CBD out of it? Will that actually be legal?
Well, I think that's one thing we're going to have to find out. Our political system is different than it has been in the past, so there's really no guarantee that there won't be some sort of Canadian tariff on that product. But, I mean, either way, it's a step in the right direction. So I think that, within the next, hopefully by 2020, we're going to see massive, massive strides towards this. I mean, hemp alone, and just, for the country in general, being able to grow hemp is gonna be a huge,
huge resource.
Yeah, and profitability from that's going to be huge. Someone went into Congress with a big basket of different goods, from foods to toothpastes, to different things, and they were like, all these things are legal, but we can't grow it. We need to grow it. And they were like, here, and now I think it's going to be a big go.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing about marijuana investing, that I think we've realized, like the big picture, is that this substance can be used for just a multitude of different different spectrums. You have like food, you can put it in alcohol, you have just the raw material, you have hemp, as you said, you have CBD, which can be extracted. I mean, the uses are way bigger, in my opinion, than alcohol could ever possibly be.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah,
medical. I mean, medicinal. You're not going to diagnose someone with alcohol to treat something, right?
Unless they got the shakes.
I mean, this industry is just in its infancy too. It's like a newborn baby. Oh, little baby.
I'm gonna cradle this baby. Fill my pockets.
Fill the pockets. So, really, like what you were saying, and what we were saying before, is because banks can't get into America, to the American companies right now. I think now is a really good opportunity to buy the American companies, 100%.
And to go on that, it wouldn't be if I didn't see a stride coming. Like I think it's coming, because then they would dilute your shares. They would do bot financing deals. They wouldn't be able to get banks. But I think because that's coming, they're going to get traditional loans, and it's not going to hurt the shareholder. And also, to backtrack what you were saying before, about the different uses, you also have to remember that cannabis has been in prohibition for 90 plus years now. So think of the pharmaceutical,
huge.
The revolution in pharmaceuticals that's about to happen. Because, I mean, it's science that's been blocked for 90 years for a plant that we already know has a multitude of different purposes for the human body. We have an endocannabinoid system in our body that only reacts to cannabis, or only reacts to the compounds of cannabis, mainly THC and CBD, and we've ignored it for 90 years. So, I mean, just opening that door alone with the patents and overtaking the opioids, I don't know, man.
It's huge. I mean, the number 1 and 2 uses of cannabis right now is pain relief, and then as a sleep aid. So, I mean, that wipes out any pain medication, any sleep medication that people would normally use are probably not going to be using. The
sleeping industry. I wonder how much that is a year. Sleeping.
Yeah, like Ambien.
Sleep aid industry.
A lot of money.
$28 billion.
That's basically at grabs.
Sleeping aid market size to reach $101.9 billion by 2023 by PS Market Research. That's Precedent Strategic Intelligence. I don't know about this company, but take it for what that is. Hopefully that's accurate. I don't want to go and say this is the real thing, but Google. I Googled it.
You gotta imagine the marijuana industry is basically going to take a big chunk out of that. At least a decent chunk, I would imagine.
So it's a good time. I mean, for me, going back to my story, I was, I'm almost 30, and I didn't really know much about investing.
Old man.
Huh?
Old man.
Old man. I didn't really know much about investing, but I knew that I needed to start putting my money somewhere. And about a year and a half ago, this guy was like, hey, I'm going to be investing in some cannabis stocks. And I was like, that sounds like a good idea. I sort of believe in the industry. And we just started researching like crazy. And we did really well with the Canadian stocks over the last year and a half. I mean, it's had its ups and downs. Thanks to Jeff Sessions, which we haven't brought up yet. January 4th, Jeff Sessions smacked my butt and basically crashed all of our stocks by saying that he was going to prosecute states, even though they have the right to do it.
Yeah.
And guess what? He's gone.
You all held. Hopefully, you all were strong.
Yeah.
And held.
Yeah.
You gotta be strong.
Yeah, it was hard holding, through all that. But my main thing was taxes. I definitely wanted to wait at least a year. I mean, I've got stock now that I can sell at any time I want. At any news I want to sell at, anytime I want to hold, I'm good. But it's difficult, and that's the thing about this industry. You are going to see ups and downs. It's never going to be clear cut. Like when I first started getting into it, and our stock started going crazy in the beginning of October 2017. I was just delusional. I told everyone, you got to start buying these stocks, guys. You got to start buying these stocks, which is something I would like to advise you should never do. Ever, unless you're like a 20-year financial advisor. Don't do it. It's not smart, and people are going to hate you because they're going to buy it at the wrong time, and they're going to hate you.
Actually, I have a very recent story about that. Recently I told a friend to basically, he wanted to get into some of these stocks.
Tell him the numbers. I want the numbers on top of this. It's a good one. It's juicy.
I said, okay, I'll get you in for the Canadian ones. He said, who are the best players? So, I mean, my best three personally are Canopy, Afria, and Aurora. The big three. You can't go wrong. He's like, okay, I want to get in one of these. So I'm like, okay, honestly, you can't go wrong with Canopy. At the time, Canopy was at $55. So he buys them at $55. They tank like the next week all the way down to like 39. And he's just my phone. Literally, I'm at work just getting fucking texts every 5 seconds. Like, oh, these things suck. What the hell? This is BS. And I was like, oh God, what the fuck did I do? I should not have told him.
I got my dad to buy Aurora literally like New Year's Eve, like 5 days before hell broke loose. He bought it. It was like, I don't know. It was like $10. So maybe it wasn't that date, but he bought it at like $10 or something. And I think he bought 500 shares, and then it just tanked down to like $4. So I don't even want to look. I'm not getting you your wedding present now, which was, I think, mostly a joke. But at the same time, like, I know he was pretty buttered about it. I don't blame him. I'm glad that I didn't tell any of my, like, really poor friends to start buying. You know what I mean? Like, everyone that I told, they could hold their own. But, ugh.
Mind you, your dad has had bad luck, too, in the past. That's the funnier thing, right? Is like just
he got hurt by the 2008 pretty bad. And I wouldn't say that. I'm just gonna stop there. He got hurt bad. A lot of people got hurt bad by 2008. Hopefully they held strong. But that's how that went. What else we got on the list here for today? Do you want to talk about the Acreage IPO, or do you not want to get into
that? We could probably get into that. We could probably get into that at some point.
All right, we hyped about Acreage for a long time coming.
In the future.
Oh.
You want to get to that?
I don't want to.
It's up. Okay, yeah, fuck it.
All right, well, we hyped about Acreage for a long time, basically. And, we thought with their political poll, they have, what's that guy's name? The old Speaker of the House.
John Boehner, yeah.
Boners is on the team. A couple of, the former president of Mexico is on their board.
Canada.
Oh, Canada. Didn't they have someone from Mexico too?
Not that I know of.
Okay, I think they had a Mexican diplomat, but don't quote me on that. But apparently they had the one of the previous presidents of Canada on their board, so they have a lot of political pull. So we thought at the time that this could be pretty interesting for a company to have political pull, but I don't know how I feel about it right now. I think that they were saying they're gonna IPO. What was it, 25 or 17?
Apparently $25, which $25. I'm pretty sure when they did like their private offering, people bought it in much cheaper than that. Those people got it way cheaper. So I'm not sure. I'm completely sold personally on Acreage yet. For me, I kind of like the ones that are currently existing that you can we already have like measurements of their revenue and whatnot. Like Ianthus, MPX, and GTI. So, yeah, we kind of have to. I would say, well, at least for me, I mean, everyone can do what they want, but I would probably wait on acreage in terms of myself.
Yeah, I'm not purchasing a $25 IPO for a company that doesn't have any products I've heard of. That's my bottom line. In fact, when I first got into the Canadian market, so that has actually burned me because I was like, okay, I'm only looking at companies that have a product, which I think is still good. But I bought this one company, THC Biomed, and they're trash. But they had a product, so I was like, oh, they have a product, this should be fine. But they didn't turn out to do very much, and I ended up selling, I think, at like either like right at it or a slight loss, so I could buy hockey equipment. So
what about Spliff? Spliff just fucked me right in the butthole.
Yeah. So I bought 1,000 shares of Spliff. Spliff, so just in case you want to know, I think is on the Canadian CSE under EAT, and they are a edibles company based out of where, Colorado?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Colorado. Yeah.
Based out of Colorado, and we were like, oh man, gotta get in the edibles market. This company's got something, and we bought them like 30 cents or something, and I bought 1,000, and then a couple days later, you know what? I'm gonna buy this, and he bought 10,000 shares, and he bought it like the day before that it spiked up from like 30 cents to like what, 80 cents?
Yeah, it was at 70. I could have gotten rid of it, and I was like, wow, I'm gonna hold because I'm a greedy piece of shit, and this is going to get to like $2 potentially. Nope, just crashed.
Yeah, yep, that one.
I'm honestly just hoping something like they get bought out. I don't really care. I'll sell that shit off hype to get my money back, and just break even at this point. Yeah.
There's a lot of smaller cap companies that I bought with sort of like leftover change when I made bigger purchases for things like when I bought big amounts of like Emerald or Aurora or Canopy or Free. I was like, oh, I have like $200 extra. FOMO happened, and I was like, let me just buy this little company, and investing like that isn't smart. We did a lot of research into the bigger companies, like, I mean, a ton. We knew exactly what they were doing, where they were going. The one thing we couldn't really account for at the time were the bought financing deals where they were diluting their share stock, Aurora, and so I won't be investing like that in the future. We basically tag team any company that we want to look for, and we make the decision close together. But yeah, so learn from that experience from the both of us. You got any closing notes there?
I would say do your research 100%. Do your own research. Do not take it from us. Do not take it from anyone else. Do not take it from Google. Do your own research and then make your own decisions so that you know what you're getting into as an investor and what that could mean down the line. Don't invest in anything you have absolutely no idea what you're getting into. You need to know exactly what you're getting into before you invest.
That's burned me bad. My spliff story, because I only bought 1,000, so it was like $300 or something, $200 when I bought it. I bought MJNA, and I bought 10,000 shares of them because, quote unquote, we had a conversation, and he said my dad likes them, and I was like, I'm just gonna buy them. You know what I mean? And I didn't do any research. I had no idea what I was doing. You want to talk about trash company? MJNA is the trashiest of the trash company. All right, I'm talking wearing a fucking tank top, eating tuna fish and macaroni and cheese in a bowl. That's how trashy.
You know why my dad liked them? Because he had them from like 2 years ago. Was literally holding on to them until that point, until last year when everything spiked in like right before January, the new year, and he just sold it because he was like, man, I got out of it. I'm like, good for you, Dad.
Yeah, well, at least someone made money off of me. At least I know when I lose, someone's making something. I can give it to him. All right, well, this was your weekly update with the Green Cowboys. Is that what we're going with?
Green Cowboys, baby. Green, but
racing to greener pastures with the Green Cowboys. All right, everybody, have a good week. Let's hope for some more good news in the cannabis sector, and we'll be there on Sunday to make sure that you are informed. Have a good week.
Take it easy.